Today on How Cool, we'll find out what makes bees so special, why you better pack an extra suitcase if you ever go for a day trip to Mercury, and we'll learn some cool facts about the human body that will blow your mind. All this and more coming up now on How Cool. When most people think of bees, they probably think of getting stung, right? But there's a lot more these amazing animals can do than just scare you at a pool party. Bees have an incredible sense of smell. They can sense the smallest hints of pollen, a powdery substance from flowers which they eat. When the bees land on flowers, the pollen sticks to their legs. When they fly off, they carry the pollen with them. As the bees collect pollen from various flowers, the pollen spreads and starts the process known as pollination, which helps plants grow and produce food. Without bees to spread pollen and seeds, many plants, including many of the world's food crops, would die. You know what else bees can do with their super sense of smell? Sniff out a bomb. It's true. Just like the way they can smell pollen in the air, they can be trained to smell explosives and lead law enforcement agents to the threat. Scientists have been working with honeybees for almost 20 years on developing this amazing ability. So bees not only keep our crops growing, so we have plenty of food to eat, they can help keep us safe too. How cool! You know what else is cool? The human body. Let's see how cool it really is. You have an incredible system in your body called the circulatory system. It's an organ system that carries blood and transports nutrients, oxygen, and other important gases to and from the cells in your body. It's essential to keeping us alive. Blood vessels are the tubes that carry the blood. They resemble the roots of a huge old tree, stretching all throughout our bodies. Would you believe that if you stretched out all the blood vessels in your body and laid them end to end, they would reach approximately 60,000 miles? That's nearly 2.5 times around the Earth. How cool! At the heart of the circulatory system is, well, your heart, beating steadily all day and night to pump the blood through your body. That brings up a good question. How many times does the average person's heart beat each day? A. About 2,000 times. B. About 60,000 times. C. About 115,000 times. Wow. Those are some big numbers. Would you believe the answer is C? About 115,000 times every day? That means that when you turn 80 years old, your heart will have beat over 3 billion times. Now that's pretty cool. Now, how about a game of fact or fiction? Fact or fiction? Your wingspan, which is the length of your outstretched arms, is roughly the same as your height. Fact. Don't believe me? Let's put it to the test. Stretch out your arms as wide as they'll go. Measure that distance. Then, measure how tall you are. For most people, it's just about the same. Try it. You know who has a big wingspan? Olympic champion Michael Phelps. He's our cool person of the day. Michael Phelps was born to swim. He started at the age of 7 years old, and only 8 years later, at the age of 15, he was selected for his first U.S. Olympic team. He went on to compete in 5 Olympic Games, breaking world records and winning 28 total medals. 23 of those were gold medals. Those incredible numbers make him the most decorated Olympic athlete in history. Pretty impressive, right? Well, consider this. If Michael Phelps were a country, he would rank number 33 on the all-time gold medal list. He has more gold medals than 99 countries. Amazing! His nickname includes the Baltimore Bullet, Mr. Swimming, and, of course, simply GOAT, which stands for Greatest of All Time. GOAT is an acronym. Do you know what an acronym is? An acronym is a word that is formed as an abbreviation from the initial letters of the words in a phrase. Huh? It's actually not that complicated. And it's pretty fun. Here, see if this helps. Some other famous acronyms are FYI, which means for your information, or UFO, which means unidentified flying object. Sports leagues use acronyms too. NFL stands for National Football League. MLB means Major League Baseball. FIFA is the Fédération Internationale de Football Association. Football in this case meaning soccer, not American football. And NBA is the National Basketball Association, to name a few. So why W, my friends? And WTG on figuring out how to use acronyms. Now that's as cool as it gets. LOL. How cool. Have you heard the saying, time flies when you're having fun? Sometimes the day seems to be over in a blink of an eye. Other days seem to stretch on and on and on. Well, that's nothing compared to how long a day is on the planet Mercury. One day is the time it takes for a planet to spin around one time on its axis. Here on Earth, that takes 24 hours. Mercury is the smallest planet in the solar system, and also the closest to the sun. So it's hot, really hot. And on Mercury, the days are long, really long. One Earth day is 24 hours. How many hours are in one Mercury day? A. 30 hours. B. 200 hours. C. 1400 hours. If you guessed C, you're right. Can you believe it? It takes Mercury 1,408 hours to rotate one time. That's more than 58 days on Earth. Here's something cool. Even though each day is much longer on Mercury, a year, the time it takes for a planet to orbit all the way around the sun, only takes 88 days. On Earth, a year takes 365 days. So if you lived on Mercury, which is impossible by the way, the days would take forever, but the years would fly by. The cool thing is, every 3 months, you'd have a birthday. Just think of all the cake you'd get to eat. How cool! Next, it's time for some thunder and lightning. Then we'll power up some robots. And later, we'll dive in to see the world's biggest single structure that's made by living things. Next on How Cool! We're back. Let's get to it. Get your raincoats on. It's time to head out into some bad weather. We've all seen lightning and heard thunder before, right? They're pretty cool in and of themselves. But what's really cool is what they are and how they happen. Let's start with lightning. Have you ever felt a static electricity shock, like from your warm clothes when they come out of the dryer? Well, lightning is caused from the same kind of reaction, only it's on a much, much bigger scale. Lightning is a very powerful burst of electricity that's caused in a thunderstorm. It all starts with a cloud. When the sun warms the Earth's surface, it also evaporates water. That warm, moist air rises. And as it does so, these air currents start to come together and organize into what are called thermals. Then, the water vapor in the air condenses, and it begins to form a cloud. As the air keeps rising, the top of the cloud becomes freezing cold, and lots of ice particles form and bump into each other. Eventually, the whole cloud becomes filled with particles of ice and rain, and this movement and bumping around creates an electrical charge. The lighter, positively charged particles form at the top of the cloud, and the heavier, negatively charged particles form at the bottom. Opposites attract, so the positive and negative charges find each other, and bang, lightning strikes. It happens really quickly. Lightning only lasts 1 to 2 microseconds, but a lightning bolt has millions of volts of electricity and is super hot as 50,000 degrees Fahrenheit. And here's something really amazing. It's estimated that there are about 100 lightning strikes on the Earth every second. Somewhere, lightning is striking the Earth every second of the day. Now that's cool. You may not know this, but thunder is actually caused by lightning. When lightning happens, it creates intense heat in the air. This causes the air to expand very quickly, which results in a big sonic wave, or a sound, thunder. The sound of thunder can range from a low rumble to a sharp, loud crack. It all happens in an instant, but we see lightning before we hear thunder. Why? Well, lightning is light, and thunder is sound. Light travels much, much, much faster than sound. Sound travels almost 800 miles an hour. That's pretty fast. Oh yeah? Well, not compared to light. Well, okay then. How fast is the speed of light? A. 5,000 miles per hour. B. 670 million miles per hour. C. 2,400,000 miles per hour. D. 87,000 miles per hour. Give up? Well, if you answered B, you're right. What? It's true. Light travels at an almost unbelievable speed of 669,600,000 miles per hour. A traveler moving at the speed of light would circumnavigate the Earth about 7.5 times in 1 second. Wow! So in the case of thunder and lightning, the light gets to us much more quickly than the sound does. The shorter the gap between the time you see the lightning and hear the thunder, the closer you are to it. So if there's almost no gap, it's time to take cover. There's a saying, like trying to catch lightning in a bottle, which is used to describe something that's very difficult, almost bordering on impossible. At one time, long ago, it may have seemed like our next topic would be like trying to catch lightning in a bottle. But now, it's becoming more and more a part of our world every day. What are we talking about? Robots. Robots and artificial intelligence are among the biggest initiatives for many of today's scientists and companies. Artificial intelligence is the development of computer systems that are able to perform tasks and do things that normally require human intelligence. Things like understanding speech, translating different languages, visual perception, and making decisions. The United States, China, and India are the leading countries in the global race to create robots. Companies like Amazon, Facebook, Tesla, and Google are investing billions of dollars to develop computers and robots powerful enough to handle tasks for us. Already, the military uses robots to perform extremely dangerous jobs without endangering the lives of soldiers. They're also used for space exploration, like the ROV, the remotely operated vehicle, which can collect data and explore terrain not possible for humans. Some hospitals use robot-assisted surgery, in which robot arms are controlled by a doctor. They're so advanced, it's possible for doctors to perform the surgery without even being in the operating room or even the same hospital. Underwater exploration, agriculture, helping police fight crime, the list goes on and on. Many people are concerned that robots might eventually replace humans in various jobs, and that they could also create problems and be very dangerous if they're not used properly. The focus will be on creating artificial intelligence that is safe, allowing us to benefit from the technology and the opportunities it creates without the downsides. I'm just excited to have a robot who can do my chores for me. Now that will be cool. When we come back, we're leaving robots behind for something that's truly alive. In fact, it's the biggest single structure made up of living things on Earth. Next on How Cool. We're back. Are you ready to witness something truly great? This is the Great Barrier Reef. The Great Barrier Reef is one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. And looking at it from far above, you can understand why. In addition to being stunningly beautiful, it's the world's largest coral reef system, made up of almost 3,000 individual reefs and 900 islands. Located off the coast of Australia in the Coral Sea, the Great Barrier Reef stretches for an incredible 1,400 miles over an area of 130,000 square miles. These reefs aren't just colorful rocks, they're alive. And that makes the Great Barrier Reef the world's largest single structure made by living organisms. Basically, the largest living thing on the planet. So big, it can be seen from outer space. How cool! The reef is made up of and built by billions of tiny organisms which are known as coral polyps. In addition to the more than 400 different kinds of coral, the reef is home to all kinds of wildlife. Whales, dolphins, sharks, rays, and porpoises. Over 1,500 species of tropical fish, like the clownfish and many others. More than 200 kinds of birds. And various reptiles, like sea turtles, saltwater crocodiles, and giant clams, which can live to over 120 years old. How cool! Speaking of water, here's a cool fact you might find surprising. Over the course of a lifetime, the average person drinks how much water? A. 500 liters. B. 1,000 liters. C. 50,000 liters. D. 15,000 liters. Would you believe the answer is C. 50,000 liters? It's true. Let's do the math. Doctors recommend that we drink 8 glasses of water a day. 8 glasses equals about 2 liters of water each day. The average person lives to be 71 years old, which is 25,915 days. So that means that over the course of a person's life, he or she will probably drink around 50,000 liters of water. Just how much water is that? Well, it would fill a small swimming pool. Whoa, talk about staying hydrated. Okay, enough with the water already. Let's get to land. Well, kind of. Bundle up, cause we're heading to the North Pole. Welcome to the northernmost place on Earth, the point where the Earth's axis intersects with the Earth's surface. Now, I said we were going to get to land, but I wasn't exactly telling the truth. See, the South Pole lies on a continental landmass, but the North Pole is actually located in the middle of the Arctic Ocean. The waters up there are almost permanently covered with ice, usually somewhere between 6 and 10 feet thick. So it's possible to travel there and stand at the North Pole. The only thing is that ground below you isn't land, it's frozen water. Here's another cool thing about the North Pole. There's only one sunrise and one sunset each year. What? I thought the sun rose and set every day. That's true, except at the North Pole. The Earth rotates on a tilted axis as it revolves around the sun. And at the North Pole, the angle changes very slowly over long periods of time, whereas in other places, it changes more frequently. The result is that the sun is continuously above the horizon during the summer and continuously below the horizon during winter, meaning that each year at the North Pole, the sun rises in late March and stays up in the sky for 24 hours every day. It's never dark. Then, in late September, the sun finally sets until it rises again the following March. And yeah, you guessed it, during those winter months, it is dark 24 hours a day. Can you imagine? When we come back, we'll see if we can learn some more cool stuff. And to get that started, how about a quick game of fact or fiction? Fact or fiction? Dogs do not sweat. The answer coming up when we return to How Cool. We're back. All right, let's find out the answer to our game of fact or fiction. Fact or fiction? Dogs do not sweat. Fiction. Dogs do sweat, just not where you might think they do. Unlike humans, who sweat all over, dogs actually sweat through the bottoms of their paws. Who knew? But this isn't enough to cool them down. The main way dogs cool down? Panting. The tongue-out, heavy breathing helps our canine buddies lower their body temperature. Think that's cool? You ain't seen nothing yet. Check out these cool facts about owls and their unique eyes. First, owls have exceptionally good vision, particularly in low light, like at night, which is when they do most of their hunting. How good is their vision? Well, if you're a mouse out for an evening stroll, you better take cover. Here's something really cool. Owls don't have eyeballs. What? It's true. They're more like eye tubes. They're long, tube-shaped, and held in place by bones inside their heads. The result is that owls can't move their eyes side to side like we can. How do they see around themselves then? Well, fortunately for owls, they can turn their heads almost all the way around without moving their bodies. That's cool. Here's another cool fact. Owls have 3 eyelids. The upper eyelid closes down when the owl blinks. The lower eyelid closes up when the owl sleeps. As the 3rd eyelid moves horizontally across the owl's eye, it's translucent, which means it's see-through. So the owl can still see through it even while it's over the eye. This is particularly helpful when the owl is hunting. Its eyes are protected by the lid, but it can still see its prey as it swoops down for dinner. How cool! Except for the mouse. Well, that wraps up our episode for today. Until next time, keep your eyes and your ears open in search of things that make you say, "How cool!"